Hi, I'm Ryan Murphy, and I'm here with photographer and filmmaker Carie Edwards. All right, thank you very much for joining us, taking the time out of your day. I know I always love talking about film and filmmaking with you because you really know your stuff, and we're both very involved in it. And so I wanted to ask you, when and how did your love for filmmaking and film in general really begin?
Well, I think it started whenever I got my first digital camera and I figured out how to do stop motion animation. I used to play with my little toys and make little stop motions and claymations, and also I was obsessed with Steven Spielberg and like E.T. and Jaws and
Those were mine whenever I was
yeah.
young.
So I think watching his movies also made me really want to do something like that, make movies like he did.
Do you still have your like old stop motion videos or anything like that?
I think I have the claymation somewhere. I probably do if I really dug. My mom probably does.
Oh yeah, I'm sure she does. But I understand that you went to Fairland High School, which actually has like an excellent program for news and creative video. And I was wondering, how did that help propel you towards filmmaking, or like how did that help you grow as a filmmaker early on?
Well, I think before I went into the video program, I had never really considered filmmaking like an actual possibility, like for a career. So I think whenever I started doing that, I started to think more about it as like a serious career instead of just a hobby.
It's really eye-opening when you actually get your hands on the stuff and you actually can start making it and putting it into like productions and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you advance once high school was over and you actually were into the quote real world? How did that? How did you progress then?
Well, I guess really it was just gaining more experience and working with like real crews. Like when I was 19, we went to California for 3 months and worked on a feature film, and that was the first time I'd ever worked on
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, 19? That's crazy.
And it was the first time I'd ever like worked with like a real like big crew before.
How did you get that opportunity?
Well, it was an independent film that one of his best friends was directing, and he had always said that he wanted to shoot a movie with him, and we just started dating, so I went along and I was the AC.
Networking, there you go. Like,
Yeah.
You just got to take what you can. But yeah, that's awesome, opportunity like that. Since you have embarked on your filmmaking journey, so you'd say, what is probably like one of the biggest hurdles that you've faced?
Well, I think it's getting men to take me seriously. You know, like whenever you are the only, especially when you're working as something like a grip or something.
Yeah.
There's normally not any other females working like that, and it's really hard to get them to take you seriously. Like things like they don't think that you can do like the heavy lifting, but my husband's not a very big guy, and he works on the same jobs as I do, but I can probably lift just as much as he can, but nobody would ever think to say anything like that to him because he's a guy. So you would never think, like, look at him and be like, oh, he shouldn't be lifting something heavy,
It's very interesting looking at it like that, because obviously we see nowadays a lot of sexism and gender roles and stuff in the workforce, and even it's interesting to see that it even bleeds into more creative fields and art even. You think more like other things, but it's very prevalent in all things, and it's interesting to hear your story about it.
Yeah.
I was wondering, how did you explained how you got involved in that project. How did you get involved with the Hatfields and McCoys documentary series?
Well, the crew came in from LA and hired like a smaller local production company to work on the project too, and I happened to be doing freelance work for that company at the time, so they asked me if I wanted to do it, and I said yes.
So what was your exact role in the production? Like, what did you...
I was a camera operator.
Camera operator?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I liked it. It was fun.
So do you work for like a certain corporation or production company, or are you more like freelance, independent? Like, how would you describe your...
Right now it's just completely freelance. We work for some production companies sometimes, but they just hire us on as freelancers. We're not like regular employees or anything.
So to do your job, what would you say what skills and attributes would you say are required of someone pursuing filmmaking or even photography?
Well, I think that it's important that you're able to collaborate with other people. I see a lot of people like fresh out of film school with really big ego, and they think that, all of their ideas are the best, and they don't really want to collaborate with anybody. But sometimes you just have to realize that your idea is not always the best, and it's good to. That's what filmmaking is you work with a crew. So.
Oh yeah, it's a large collaboration. It takes a village in filmmaking, and you got to kind of accept that you're not the only one in the production.
Yeah, and also just to not get discouraged easily, because in the beginning, you're going to be working a lot of hard hours, long hours, and you're not going to be paid very much, and you're going to have like people telling you not taking your career choice seriously because it kind of seems a little far-fetched, but you just have to ignore all that and keep trying.
Keep pushing on in the pursuit of filmmaking.
Yes.
And I was wondering, what is next for you? And you're kind of a filmmaker team with your husband, Josh Edwards. You guys, I've noticed you guys have complete like synergy when you're working together. It seems like you guys really, you're very, like you said, collaborating. It seems like you're very good collaborators with each other. Yeah. So I was wondering, what is next for you or you two or?
Well, we just released a documentary we made for Jim Spaghetti online about Strawberry Pie Week, and
nice.
We're going to be starting another commercial for a local company, which I'm not sure if they want me to say or not.
Still a little under the wraps.
Yeah,
right?
And I'm going to be directing my first feature-length documentary soon, which is just following a local band around and doing some performance pieces and stuff with them.
Interesting. That's gonna be awesome. That seems like that's a really good. It lends itself to a lot of creativity, probably, and like I can't wait to see it. So. The last thing I'm going to ask you is, what advice would you give someone? I know you mentioned earlier a little bit about it, but what if you knew someone who was going to pursue filmmaking, what would you tell them?
I have to think about this one for a minute.
That's fine.
I would probably tell them to, keep making stuff as much as possible and working on things whenever you can. And also using the tools that you have, like social media, to get your work out there as much as possible, even though it's scary to show your work to people, but you gotta get yourself out there.
Do you know your account names for like your social medias, just in case anyone wants to like follow up on you?
Right now I just do the Pixel Poet on Instagram.
Pixel Poet. And
I have a new one, another Instagram that I post my travel photography on. It's Ambido Stricken.
Nice. Do you have a YouTube channel, or is it just strictly like Instagram?
We have a Vimeo channel. It's Josh and Carie Edwards.
All right. Thank you very much. All right. This is Carie Edwards. Make sure to keep track of what she's doing next and follow her. Thank you once again very much for showing up and taking the time out of your day to talk with us.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
All right. Once again, I'm Ryan Murphy. See you next time.